In this tutorial, we're going to make a key fob using the software TechSoft 2D Design. This is a piece of CAD software, computer-aided design software for making graphics in 2D, which I can then send to a laser cutter and have them then physically made out of a sheet material. So my key fob is going to be for my music bag, and I'm going to show you how I do that right now. Here's my drawing area. I've configured this so that it is 5 centimeters across and 5 centimeters up, and there is a grid here. And this grid actually has a 1/2 centimeter grid spacing. In fact, if I have a look down here where it says ABS or absolute grid reference, as I move around my grid there, you can see this is 0, 0. So again, I'm looking down here. This is the origin 0, 0. As I move to the right, the X value goes 1/2 centimeter, 1 centimeter, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5. And then if I go back to the original origin here, if I go up the left-hand side, I can see that the Y value is going up as well, all the way to 5. And if I go to the top right, I have X equals 5 centimeters and Y equals 5 centimeters. So that's how the grid's working. Everything I do in here is going to be working to the grid. It is possible to snap off the grid, but I'm not going to. I'm going to keep it simple. Okay, so I need to draw my key fob inside this square, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to choose the Shapes tool here, which is a rectangle tool. And now I'm going to click once in this position, and then click a second time up here in this position, and I've just made myself a square. That means at the moment my key fob is going to be a simple square, which I'm not very excited about. I want to try and do something a bit different here. So I am going to come to this Arcs tool over here in the top left. Now I'm going to call this tool B2. This Shapes tool I'm going to call A3. This is like referring to cells on a spreadsheet. So column A, row 3, and then here I'm column B, row 2. If I hold my mouse button down on that Arcs tool, then the toolbar expands, and if I move all the way along to the end, I've got the filleted arc tool. Okay, now I'm going to give that a radius of, whoops, called the Enter key, 0.5 centimeters or 1/2 centimeter. And now I'm going to click once on this left line, once on the top line, and I put a 1/2 centimeter radius arc in that corner. That looks rather nice. Let's have another one over here. And I think I'm going to leave it like that. And I'm going to have the other corners pointy. Why not? Now I want to make it so that there's going to be a hole in here so I can add through some kind of keychain. So to do that, now let's have a look at this circle tool over here. So with this I can click once and then draw out a circle, which is absolutely great. But it's snapping to the grid, and that's not working. So I'm going to right click to cancel that. What else can I do? Well, if I hold the mouse button down on this, it expands, and I'm now going to come to a circle with a given center and radius. If I release on that tool, I'm going to have a radius here of 0.25 centimeters or 1/4 centimeter. Let's click on OK, and now I get a small little circle that looks like this. That's nice. An alternate way that I can do this, if you want to, is I can go back to the circle tool, and rather than working with grid lock, I'm going to go to step lock. And this now means that as I move my mouse pointer around, I've actually got millimeter by millimeter control. So if I come down to the origin here, remember these squares, the blue squares, the grid is 1/2 centimeter grid. So in terms of millimeters, that's 5 millimeters. So if I go up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 5 millimeters up. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that's 1 whole centimeter. And I can see in the bottom left it says there my absolute grid reference is 0 horizontally in the X and 1 centimeter vertically in the Y. So with this tool, what I can do is, let's say I'm going to click down here and I can just bring my mouse to the right there, let's say 2 millimeters, and I've just got a 2 millimeter radius or 4 millimeter diameter circle there. So that looks rather good. Which one am I going to keep? I think let's come to the delete any tool over here. I'm going to delete that one. I think it's a bit on the big side. Now I'm going to get the selection tool. I'm going to click on this circle. I'm going to bring my mouse over that center node where the 4-way arrow now indicates where my mouse pointer is. I'm going to click once, move, and then click again. Remember, I'm working with step lock there, so it snaps to the grid. That looks rather good. Okay, so now I'm going to add my little message to say it belongs to me. So let's come to the text tool here. Let's click, let's come back to grid lock, so it's snapping to the grid. Let's click here, and I'm going to say this, let's have this trumpet, this piano, this, I don't know, this instrument belongs to Mr. Shaw. There you go. So let's confirm that. Now that's a bit of a problem. My text is absolutely massive. And as well, if I scroll to the right here, it's all in one long line. So I need to modify this. Let's have a see. Can I select this text? And can I fix it? Now, when I click on this text, at the moment I've deselected it. There's nothing down here in the bottom right. If I click on this, then you'll notice I get a little box suddenly appear with properties and start edit. If I go to properties, I bring up this text entry box again. What I'm going to do here, first of all, is separate this into separate lines. So let's have, I didn't like that, that's better. This instrument belongs to, you know what, I'm going to change that. That's better. Property of Mr. Shaw. That's better. I like the sound of that. Now it's still going to be way too big, so let's go to properties and let's go to settings and let's change the size. Now I'm going to go with text here. Let's have a see. This grid here is 1/2 centimeter each square. So if I go to, let's say, 1/2 centimeter height, let's see how that looks. Okay. Aha! That looks better, but I'm snapping to the grid here and it's kind of bouncing around a little bit. Maybe I need to go to step lock just to tidy that up. Okay, that's better. What else can I do here? Well, in properties, settings, there's a whole bunch of extra things I can do here, changing the font and all these different things. I rather like that. How does that look? Yeah, oh, now it's too big. So now I'm going to go back to settings and I'm going to have to make it smaller. Let's go to 0.3 centimeters in height. Okay, that's right. You know what? I'm going to be fussy here. I'm going to go 0.4. And you can fiddle around with those settings. Let's rotate this. I like rotation. Let's have a see. There's a little circle over here. Remember, I've got this selected with the selection tool. I'm going to now click on that little tool there, and I can now drag this up, rotate it. That's rather smart. And I'm going to pop that over there like that. And finally, what am I going to do here? I don't know. Let's have a, well, I'm going to have this for my music bag. So I'm going to have some little piano here down the bottom. So if I get my rectangle tool again, let me see. Can I do a little piano? In fact, I'm going to zoom in here so I've got more control. Here's my zoom in tool. I'm going to click once, click twice. Now I've zoomed in down here. Let's get to this shapes tool again and let me see. Can I draw like a piano note? Now, click, click. There's a little piano note. I rather like that. Okay, if I click on that, can I copy this? Whoops, it's appeared down there. Can I paste that up to there? Can I take both of those, copy them? Why does it keep appearing down there? That's really annoying. Drop that there. Let's take all of those, copy it. Okay, so I'm just going to keep on doing this, make a few notes. Okay, well that looks very un-keyboardy-like. It looks more like just a series of bars to me. So what am I missing here? I think I am missing some black notes. So this is where I'm going to turn off step lock, and let's now draw a black note like that. It's not very black, is it? Let's click on that and let's come to my fill tool up here. I'm going to click on fill, solid black, marvelous, and I'm just going to adjust it slightly so it's a little neater. Now that looks cool. Let's have a see. Can I now, if I turn step lock back on again, can I copy that? It's still appearing down there, very annoying. And look, because step lock's on, look at that, it's snapping beautifully to the rest of the piano. And of course, I can keep going there. Now, we'll pick it up. There we go. Let's keep going. Whoops. Copy. Okay. Okay, so I'm liking that. Now let's pick all those up. Let's copy all those. And let's bring those up to there. And what am I missing here? I'm missing 1 or 2 more notes. Let me see. Can I take those? Can I drop them in there? How's that going to look? You know what? I actually think I'm going to click and drag over those. Don't want those. I'll delete them. Don't want that. I'll delete it. Okay, and there's my piano looking really, really cool. I'm going to click and drag over that. I'm going to go to Edit. I'm going to go to Group. That means now that's all one object. Let's just go back out to Media here on the right hand side. Now, am I happy with the position there? And am I happy with the size? Let me see. I want to make it a bit bigger. And to make it bigger, this is the last thing I'm going to do, I think. If I click on this, I've got the resize handles here. Now, if I click and drag that resize handle out, the problem is that I can basically stretch that. I can distort it. And to me, that doesn't look anywhere near as good. It looks kind of like I don't know, a kiddie keyboard. I want it to look like a professional keyboard. That's much, much better. Let me see. Same thing if I kind of do that, it looks really stupid. Now, to make sure that I maintain the proportions of my piano, if I hold down the Shift key on the keyboard before I click, now with the Shift key held, I'm going to now click on that resize handle. Now I can release the Shift key, and as I resize this drawing, you can see it maintains its proportions. That's beautiful. And I'm going to click again there, and I'm really happy with that. I think that looks awesome. And there we go. That's my key fob finished. I'm now going to save that. Let's see. When I come to save, File, Save As, and when you're saving this, I'm not going to save it on here, but when you save it, notice that the file name says name in square brackets. If you don't mind, please put your name in there, and then we know whose key fob is whose. Of course, if you've got your name in on the actual key fob as well, it will help too, but having it in the file name is also very, very useful. Good luck making your own key fob.